Did you know that in 2025, the UK is seeing the highest rate of immigrants leaving since records began? Shocking, right? People who once dreamed of a better life in the UK are now packing up and heading out in record numbers. But why? What's causing this mass exodus, and what does it mean for the future of the UK? You might be surprised to learn that it's not just about money or politics. It's far deeper than that. Immigrants, who have contributed so much to the UK over the years, are facing challenges that are pushing them to leave their new home behind, and it's happening fast. Rising costs, a crumbling job market, rigid immigration policies, and a society that feels less welcoming every day. These are just the tip of the iceberg. What's really going on behind the headlines? Could the UK be losing its appeal for good? And what is it that makes so many immigrants believe leaving is their only choice? Stick around, because in this video, I'll reveal the shocking truths behind why so many immigrants are leaving the UK in 2025. You won't want to miss this, because the reasons might surprise you, and some may even change the way you think about life in the UK. Trust me, this is something you'll want to hear. Number 1. Rising cost of living. In 2025, one of the biggest challenges facing immigrants in the UK is the skyrocketing cost of living. From housing to groceries, everything seems to be getting more expensive. And for immigrants, many of whom are already dealing with currency exchange issues or lower paying jobs, this is becoming an unbearable reality. The rise in living costs is directly impacting their ability to live comfortably in the UK. Rent prices have reached unimaginable heights, especially in major cities like London, Manchester, and Birmingham. Immigrants are finding it harder to secure affordable accommodation, forcing many to live in overcrowded conditions or move out of the cities altogether. Even those who already own property are feeling the pinch as inflation continues to drive up prices for everyday goods and services. But it's not just the rent that's a problem. Basic necessities like food, utilities, and transportation have also seen significant price hikes. A simple grocery trip that once cost a reasonable amount now feels like a luxury for many families. For immigrants, this makes it difficult to save money, send remittances back home, or invest in their future. Many immigrants are realizing that the dream they once had of building a better life in the UK is turning into a financial struggle. With fewer opportunities to make ends meet, they're being forced to consider leaving for more affordable countries where their money goes further. And this trend shows no signs of slowing down, making the cost of living a primary factor in the decision to leave the UK. Number 2. Unstable job market. The UK's job market, once seen as a land of opportunity, has become another significant reason why immigrants are packing up and leaving in 2025. With increasing job insecurity, layoffs, and an unpredictable economy, many immigrants are finding it difficult to secure stable employment that allows them to build a future. Industries that were once dominated by immigrants, such as hospitality, retail, and construction, are now facing massive disruptions. The impact of automation, reduced demand, and economic uncertainty has led to fewer job openings, and what's left often comes with lower wages and poor working conditions. Immigrants, who are often employed in these sectors, are feeling the effects of these challenges the hardest. The situation is compounded by Brexit's aftermath, which has made it more difficult for EU nationals to work in the UK without facing additional visa restrictions. The uncertainty surrounding the future of work in the UK is driving many immigrants to reconsider their options. For those who have been in the UK for years, the idea of uprooting themselves is difficult, but the shrinking job market and lack of opportunities for growth make it seem like the only viable option. With wages stagnating and living costs rising, the promise of a better life in the UK is increasingly looking like a distant dream. Many immigrants are now looking elsewhere, to countries that offer more stable and rewarding job markets, where their skills are valued and where they can thrive. This shift in the job market is making the UK an unappealing place to stay for many immigrants, forcing them to leave in search of brighter prospects. Number 3. Rigid immigration policies. One of the most shocking reasons why immigrants are leaving the UK in 2025 is the increasingly rigid immigration policies. The welcoming atmosphere that once defined the UK is now being overshadowed by strict visa regulations, complicated paperwork, and unpredictable immigration laws. These changes are causing many immigrants to rethink their decision to stay. The introduction of new visa requirements, points-based systems, and stricter border controls has made it more challenging for immigrants to live and work in the UK. For those seeking to renew their visas, the process has become long, expensive, and full of red tape. Immigrants are often left waiting for months or even years for approvals, all while dealing with the financial burden of legal fees, paperwork, and the anxiety of not knowing what the future holds. In addition, the UK's post-Brexit immigration system has made it much harder for EU nationals to stay. Once able to freely move and work within the UK, EU immigrants are now facing significant barriers that limit their freedom to work and live. For many, this has been a wake-up call, prompting them to leave the UK in search of countries with more favourable immigration policies that offer a sense of stability and security. The lack of clarity in immigration laws and the constant changes to policy have made it difficult for immigrants to plan long-term. The uncertainty surrounding immigration status has led many to question whether staying in the UK is worth the constant struggle. As a result, immigrants are choosing to pack up and move to countries with more predictable and immigrant-friendly policies. Number 4. Fear of rising crime rates. For many immigrants, the fear of rising crime rates in the UK has become an overwhelming reason to leave in 2025. While the UK has long been regarded as a relatively safe place, recent years have seen a sharp increase in crime, particularly in urban areas where many immigrants live and work. This shift has left many feeling vulnerable and unsafe, pushing them to reconsider their future in the country. In cities like London, Manchester, and Birmingham, the rise in violent crime, gang activity, and street robberies has sparked fear among immigrants who often find themselves living in neighbourhoods that are directly impacted by these issues. Stories of random acts of violence and theft have become all too common, and many immigrants feel that their safety is no longer guaranteed. For immigrants who have come to the UK in search of a better life, this sense of insecurity can be devastating. They are often already facing challenges such as cultural differences, language barriers, and financial struggles. The added stress of fearing for their safety makes the decision to leave even more pressing. Whether it's the fear of being caught in the crossfire of a gang dispute or the anxiety of leaving home at night, the rising crime rates have created an environment where many immigrants no longer feel welcome or secure. As crime continues to rise, it's clear that many immigrants are deciding to pack up and leave the UK for safer, more peaceful countries where they can build a future free from fear. This growing sense of insecurity is undoubtedly one of the key drivers of immigration departures. Number 5. Discrimination and unwelcoming atmosphere. Another shocking reason why immigrants are leaving the UK in 2025 is the rise in discrimination and an increasingly unwelcoming atmosphere. Once known for its diversity and inclusive values, the UK is now facing a cultural shift where immigrants are feeling less accepted and, in some cases, downright unwelcome. This sense of exclusion is prompting many to reconsider their place in the country. Over the past few years, there has been a noticeable increase in anti-immigrant sentiment, fueled by political rhetoric and social media. Immigrants, particularly those from non-European countries, are finding themselves subjected to more frequent verbal abuse, stereotyping, and racial profiling. Public spaces, workplaces, and even schools have become hostile environments for many. For immigrants who have already faced the challenges of adjusting to a new country, this added layer of discrimination makes it even harder to feel at home. The rise in hate crimes, racial tensions, and xenophobia has left many immigrants questioning whether the UK is the right place for them. Even those who have lived in the country for years are finding it harder to integrate and build relationships with locals. For many, this sense of isolation and alienation is simply too much to bear. The experience of discrimination can have profound emotional and psychological effects, making daily life increasingly difficult. For immigrants who came to the UK seeking opportunity and a better life, the harsh reality of being treated as an outsider is forcing them to leave in search of places where they are accepted and valued for who they are. This unwelcoming atmosphere is undeniably pushing many to pack up and go. Number 6. Unaffordable housing market. The UK's unaffordable housing market is another major reason why immigrants are choosing to leave in 2025. For many, the dream of home ownership or even securing a stable rental has become increasingly out of reach due to soaring property prices and rents. The housing crisis has made it difficult for immigrants to settle down and build a future, forcing them to reconsider their options. In cities like London, rent prices have skyrocketed, with the average cost of a one-bedroom flat in central areas reaching astronomical figures. Even in less expensive regions, rents are climbing, making it almost impossible for immigrants to find affordable accommodation. Many immigrants, particularly those who are newcomers or in lower income jobs, are being priced out of the market, leading them to search for more affordable places to live. The housing situation is even more dire for families who are looking to buy homes. With property prices at record highs, the dream of owning a home is slipping further away for immigrants who have come to the UK in search of a better life. The growing disparity between wages and housing costs means that immigrants are stuck in a cycle of renting without hope of ever owning property. The frustration and financial strain caused by unaffordable housing have driven many to leave the UK and seek out more affordable countries. Immigrants are increasingly choosing countries where the cost of living is lower and securing a home is far more attainable. In 2025, the unaffordable housing market is undoubtedly one of the driving forces behind the decision to leave the UK. Number 7. Cultural and social isolation. Cultural and social isolation is another pressing reason why immigrants are leaving the UK in 2025. For many, the transition to life in a new country was meant to be an exciting opportunity for growth and success. However, the reality of feeling disconnected from the local culture, traditions, and social life has led to a growing sense of loneliness and alienation among many immigrants. The UK, once known for its multicultural society, has seen a rise in challenges related to social integration. Immigrants, especially those from non-European countries, often struggle to find a sense of belonging. Language barriers, unfamiliar customs, and cultural differences can make it difficult to build relationships and connect with others. For many, this isolation can feel overwhelming, and the dream of a welcoming, inclusive society is beginning to fade. Even in communities with large immigrant populations, many feel marginalized and excluded. The lack of social support networks, combined with the feeling of being treated as an outsider, can lead to feelings of depression and frustration. Immigrants often find themselves yearning for the familiar comfort of their home countries, where social structures are more familiar and cultural connections are easier to maintain. The emotional toll of cultural isolation is forcing many immigrants to reconsider their future in the UK. For those seeking to establish strong, supportive relationships and a sense of community, the UK's social landscape is proving to be an unwelcoming environment. This growing sense of isolation is prompting many to leave for countries where they feel they can more easily integrate and build a life surrounded by people who share their culture and values. Number 8. Family reunification. For many immigrants, the desire to reunite with their families is a significant driving force behind their decision to leave the UK in 2025. While the UK has long been a destination for individuals seeking better opportunities, the challenges associated with family reunification have made it increasingly difficult for immigrants to bring their loved ones over. As a result, many are choosing to return to their home countries or move to places with more favourable immigration policies. The UK's immigration system has become more restrictive over the years, especially when it comes to bringing family members to join immigrants who are already settled. Strict visa requirements, long waiting periods, and high application costs have created major hurdles for those hoping to bring spouses, children, or elderly parents to the UK. Immigrants are often left in limbo, unable to enjoy the comfort of being with their families while dealing with the emotional strain of separation. This uncertainty surrounding family reunification has led many to rethink their decision to stay in the UK. Immigrants, particularly those from developing countries, find themselves caught in a cycle of waiting and frustration, with no clear timeline for when they might be able to bring their families over. The emotional toll of being apart from loved ones for years at a time is simply too much for some. As a result, many are leaving the UK and seeking countries where family reunification policies are more favourable, allowing them to build a life together without the ongoing strain of separation. This drive for family unity is undoubtedly one of the key reasons why immigrants are packing up and leaving the UK. Number 9. Brexit aftermath. The aftermath of Brexit has played a crucial role in why many immigrants are leaving the UK in 2025. While the decision to leave the European Union was political, its impact has been deeply felt by immigrants, especially those from EU countries who once enjoyed the freedom to live and work in the UK without restrictions. The shift in immigration policies post-Brexit has created uncertainty and frustration, making it harder for many to stay. Before Brexit, citizens from EU countries could easily move to the UK for work, study, or family reasons, with minimal bureaucratic obstacles. However, after the UK officially left the EU, new immigration rules were introduced, including a points-based system that requires potential immigrants to meet specific criteria, such as having a job offer or meeting salary thresholds. This system has created an obstacle for many EU nationals who once saw the UK as an easy and accessible place to build a life. For those who had already settled in the UK, the uncertainty around residency status and visa requirements has led to stress and anxiety. Many EU nationals have found themselves caught in the complexities of applying for settled status or facing the possibility of being forced to leave. The emotional strain of living with this uncertainty has made the UK seem less welcoming. With the introduction of stricter immigration laws and the loss of free movement, many EU immigrants are leaving the UK and looking for opportunities in countries where they can work and live with more ease and stability. Brexit's aftermath is undoubtedly a key reason behind the rising number of immigrants leaving the UK in 2025. Number 10. Political and economic instability. Political and economic instability in the UK has become one of the most significant factors driving immigrants to leave in 2025. Over the past few years, the United Kingdom has experienced turmoil in both its political landscape and economic structure, leading many immigrants to feel uncertain about their future in the country. From constant shifts in government to economic downturns, the UK is no longer the stable environment it once was for many seeking to build a life. The political instability, marked by frequent changes in leadership, policy U-turns, and divided opinions on issues such as Brexit, has created a sense of unpredictability. Immigrants who came to the UK with the hope of stability now find themselves in an environment where the future seems uncertain, with no clear direction on the country's path forward. The political landscape has become increasingly polarised, leaving many feeling alienated and disconnected from the country they once hoped would offer them opportunities. On the economic front, the UK has been grappling with stagnating growth, rising inflation, and an unstable job market. Wages have failed to keep up with the cost of living, and the financial outlook for many immigrants is bleak, with the uncertainty surrounding inflation rates, taxes, and public spending. The economic climate has become increasingly difficult for immigrants to thrive. As a result, many are leaving the UK in search of countries with more stable economies and clearer paths for financial success. This combination of political and economic instability has made the UK a less attractive destination for immigrants, prompting many to seek more secure futures elsewhere. So there you have it. The shocking reasons why immigrants are leaving the UK in 2025. From skyrocketing costs to political instability, it's clear that the UK is no longer the dream destination it once was for many. The challenges are real, and they're forcing people to make difficult decisions about their future. But what do you think? Are these reasons enough for immigrants to leave? Or is there more to the story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. We put a lot of effort into bringing you these insights, and your opinion truly matters. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, and it helps us continue creating content like this. Stay tuned for more eye-opening videos, and don't miss out on what's coming next. Thanks for watching.